From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening here on Evenings LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 this Monday evening. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats may actually be giving you more months of checks. Then we'll cut to fourth stimulus recon and why those Democrats may actually be giving you more money in the recon than initially thought. Then we turn to the third part of this video, which is the big vote and why the Democrats are setting this up beautifully, why it's important to know how the vote is done, more importantly, than when the vote is done. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which rises your benefits up a lifetime and gives you another stimulus check. And then we turn to the big money across the board that viewers continue to get, thousands of dollars. It's a big night. It's a big evening. I'm excited for you and all the incredible details. Let's get to it right here, right now on Evenings LALATE. Beautiful evening it is. How are you doing? Happy Monday evening. How's the weather where you are tonight? It was breathtaking here in Los Angeles today. Perfect weather. You would never know it's July. It sort of feels like an October weather. It was dark in the morning, then a little bit of sun, a nice onshore breeze from the coast. Beautiful weather. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat right now and tell me where you're tuning in from. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021 tonight on Evenings LA, this Monday evening, so much breaking news. Number one, we'll go over why you may actually be getting more checks than initially thought. Number two, we'll be going over the recon process and why the recon may actually be giving you more money. Then we cut to the vote and why the vote is actually more important about how it's done than when it's done. And by calling the vote on the wrong day could actually result in giving you nothing. But calling the vote on the right day could give you everything. Then we turn to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up and gives you another stimulus check. And then we turn to the money that viewers continue to get, like Nisi, who got $23,000 from this channel. This is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Next up is Overnight's Crypto at 5:30. Stay on this video, take you automatically to there. Then Evening's Crypto, and then Sirloin is back at 8 o'clock in his own new time slot. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button right now. I want you part of this family. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check for those Democrats starting right now. There is two approaches to those checks, and those two approaches from those checks start right here. First, House monthly check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. Let's go to the payouts. House, $2,000 for the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Senate, a monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 a person. $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. Now that is true deliciousness. Now, there is a big, fascinating twist that's happening this week, and it started last week. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, a week ago today we started with understanding the pandemic was over. Legislators may consider the pandemic over and would only give you 1 year checks from those House members, which would be $13,000. But that is no longer the case. Wow. Warren Buffett, pandemic's not over, he says. LA County, pandemic's not over, they say. The airlines, pandemic's not over, they say. Well, that's the case, and that would be more than 12 checks, which would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this in the Senate. OMG, I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I want you to see you voting right now. Boy, things are changing by the minute on this channel. Exciting. My opinion has changed. I want to see if yours has. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent they're going to be giving a fourth stimulus check to everyone who got a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check would come as not income. It's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come as a wave. So if you do see the check on the dance floor tonight, it's Monday night. Some people are still partying for 4th of July weekend. And that check is trying to breakdance. Don't try to wave at the check because it ain't going to wave back at you, especially while it's breakdancing. Hey, check, how you doing? What is that? Did you learn that from Mitch? Rude check. Must be one of Mitch's friends. No, it's not a rude check, but it's not one of Mitch's friends either, because he doesn't give you checks. It's a monthly check. The Democrats represent they're going to be giving you the check, not via Mitch, in the month of July, for the month of July, in the month of August, for the month of August, and they can still get the check out to you in the month of July. So away we go. In the second part of this video, we're going to go to the second big part of the fourth stimulus check, which is the two-path process, the recon and the bipartisan, and why that is better for you, no less than 4 different reasons, and especially because now they're apparently going to give you additional sums of money. That exciting news is coming up in the second half of this video. In the third part, we go over the vote and why it's important to know how they call the vote, not when they call the vote. But let's get a preview of the second half of this video. It's for stimulus, and it raises your benefits up a lifetime. Wow. And gives you another stimulus check. I'll explain more about that stimulus check because you gave me some great questions overnight. I'll be answering that in that part of the recording. But let's get some money. It's Money Monday. And if you are new to this channel, this is what this channel does. And you have been doing wonders. Jump in the live chat right now and post every money you gotten for this channel, whether it's rent, utilities, SNAP, or internet, anything you gotten. Post it. If you posted before, post it again. If you see these numbers, you're just probably shocked. Nisi, $23,000 for rent, utilities, and SNAP. John, $12,000 for SNAP. Art, 3 items, rent, utilities, and SNAP. Viewers are getting $5,000 to $7,000 of SNAP all the time, and are now getting $10,000 to $12,000 on rent when I thought it was $5,000, and they're getting $3,000 for utilities when I thought it was a couple $100. What's going on? That's what the viewers and myself do on this channel. I get people money. When third stimulus passed, I said, yeah, you're going to get a $14 stimulus check, but you better be ready as a purple hawk, to get that $14,000 plus under third stimulus. And viewers have done that now. So get a pen paper ready. I'm going to show you how you can get that money right now. If it must be acrylic crown, it has to be purple. And I don't mean muddled purple. There's no muddled purple. We don't muddle or murder on this. Or muddle or whatever that word is. I don't know how it's spelled, and I don't know how to say it. So we don't say that word here. Get the pen paper ready. We're going to get some rent, some utilities, some internet, and we're also going to get some homeowners utilities and homeowners SNAP, and homeowners mortgage. Each place has different eligibility. So if you reach out to one and one says no, reach out to the next. Also, they have their own pots of money, and this is the big exciting money from third stimulus. You can reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID, or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's popularity. What? I did not know that. They don't know that. I don't know that. So don't say words they don't know. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money. And congratulations to all the viewers who are getting $10,000, $12,000. It's your day to get this money as well. And that's what we do on this channel. It's a little bit like, it's not a little bit like, it's very much like December now on this channel. In December 2020, second stimulus was not yet passing. It was second stimulus at that time. And I said, you need money. It's the holidays. You need money. And I got viewers $250,000 for rent. Viewers like Tyrone got $14,000, $15,000 for his family 4 in Boston for rent. Covered all their bills all the way until almost March of this year from December. And last year, I got viewers $25 million for EID alone, save their business, their homes, and also their employees' homes. That's what I do. I give people money, and we're not tracking a check. We are not chasing dates, and we are not calendaring counting our calendars. We are cashing checks. And the next pot of the money is SNAP. Congratulations to the big people who got this big money for SNAP. It's your day to get as well. What is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. What is the eligibility? About the same as a stimulus check. Contact Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? Well, John got $12,000 for his family of 4. Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it. A family of 4 gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And you're killing it. $15,000 for staff for a family of 4 in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent, and we're only 10 minutes into the video. The check, you're not so much killing it on the dance floor. Those dance moves went out with Nancy's hairstyle. All right, let's go to the next pile of money. And it comes wonderfully back from your states. The states have been ordered to return money back to you that they had initially overpaid you due to computer error. Not your computer, their computer. The federal government has ordered the states to return the money back to you because it was not your computer problem. It was their computer problem. Where is it landing? Direct deposit you have on record with your state. When? Reach out to your respective state and say, hey, state, where is that check due to computer error? And can you track it this time with a computer that actually works? And finally, their last pot of money, which is coming back from the federal government. If you got this as well, jump on the live chat and post it. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. What is it? It's the refund check back from IRS for your taxes. And one viewer on Noontime Ally said he had not gotten it yet. So every time you post, I got it, it helps other people say, maybe mine's still coming. That always helps. How much is it? $9,000. Let's say your unemployment was $9,000 or you paid $5,000 total tax bill, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yes. About 70% of the time. You can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username, set up a password. Go in there and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it'll reveal stuff you never knew. And it may reveal stuff you don't want to know. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal, is Mitch wearing polyester or cotton for his world tour, rap tour. It will reveal Mitch's track listing on his next album. Got Your Stimulus? Is that one of the songs? I don't know. And I saw some funny comments, by the way, on Noontime. People were dropping their own comments about what they thought Mitch's track list should be. So you can do that as well in this video. And finally, we'll reveal the refund check you're coming back from IRS. And there you go. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. Your recon is also called 4th stimulus recon or reconciliation, is what has your stimulus checks in there those Democrats represent. But here's what you need to know. 2 Wednesdays ago, you would have gotten Zippo. In fact, no one would have gotten anything. In fact, the American country would have gotten nothing. Because 2 Wednesdays ago, the recon was not passable. We have learned now from Nancy, Chuck, the president, and actually Jalapal, that the 4th stimulus recon was not passable as recent as 2 Wednesdays ago. Why? It was too big. It needed to go on a diet. In there was roads and bridges. So it was such a big issue that Nancy, the president, and Chuck Schumer were meeting daily to figure out how to deal with the problem. And that ultimately, you're going to see later in this video that Jalapal was actually having a meeting with her members of the House and speaking about the issue before the recon was going to get split with the bipartisan. They were discussing the voting process of something that had not yet been split. Finally, that 2 Wednesdays ago, Nancy and President and Chuck agreed to split it. Recon staying where it is, but roads and bridges going down the road and over the bridge into something called bipartisan. Bipartisan, it went bye-bye into the bipartisan agreement. And roads and bridges off to the bipartisan. And suddenly the recon shrunk. It remained everything else that was in the recon, but it had a lot of shrinkage because now roads and bridges were removed. At this point, we had a 2-path process, or what I call the split day, 2 Wednesdays ago, where recon was split from the bipartisan and roads and bridges in the bipartisan and all your money in the recon. Now, number 1, series of things that are important for you to know why this is such wonderful, wonderful news. Number 1. Had they called the vote before that split day 2 Wednesdays ago, you would have gotten nothing. In fact, no one would have gotten anything. And when I mean you, I mean absolutely nothing. The bill would have died. It would not have passed. We have the confirmation from everyone, including the Democrats and the GOP. Why? It was too big. It was too big. It had roads and bridges in there. Now that they took the roads and bridges out, it shrunk the recon. There was a movie about this. There was a movie made about it. It's very good. It's called Honey, I Shrunk the Recon, starring Rick Moranis. Check it out. It's on DVD. So the GOP actually admits that Mitch was set up because basically by putting roads and bridges, taking roads and bridges out of the recon and putting it somewhere else, it made the recon now passable. Let's go over what a conservative publication said about this at the end of last week in a beautiful op-ed. A very well-established conservative publication. This is what the op-ed said. The higher the price tag on the recon, the harder it was to pass. That's easy to know. By allowing the Democrats to take out roads and bridges and put it into the bipartisan, the recon became smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon now easier to pass. There you go. And there was nothing gained by the GOP supporting the bipartisan because all it did was allow the recon to get passed. Oh, Mitch was set up. Yeah, he was set up. It's just as obvious as this. The recon before the split day 2 Wednesdays ago was recon plus roads and bridges. It was too big. It was not going to pass. Now that roads and bridges have been thrown out, recon is now shrunk. Now it's passable. That's number one. So the next issue is what came also great about this. And I want to explain something because I saw great comments about this. Now that the roads and bridges have been thrown out of the recon and the recon has been shrunk, the progressives are putting more stuff in there, but they're not blowing it back to the size it was before because the roads and bridges are fortunate. They're just, just a little bit. And what are they doing? They're putting more money in there. Now, here's what you need to know, is that legislators they don't have a constitutional requirement to show you transparency of every single thing they're doing. So they're not going to show you drafts of what they're writing. They're not going to show you drafts that ensures that there's a stimulus check or that it's monthly or that it's this or that's that. They're not going to show you any of these things until the last second. And ultimately, all they have is their representations to us of what they say they're doing. They also don't tell us if they're actually voting on stuff. So when we hear something like these two quotes, we get shocked. Did you know there's housing in the recon? Housing? Viewers are asking me, what type of housing? I need some housing relief. I don't know what the housing relief is. They just said there's housing in there. Wait a second. Where did this come from? Yeah. So let me explain to you what they're doing. They're adding progressive policies into this recon that weren't even there before. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, says, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens to the bipartisan, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it to go. Wow. So are they adding stuff in? They are. In fact, the Progressive Caucus is meeting daily with the White House saying that the recon must go big and bold. Now, not as bold as it was before, but, must have what they want in there. And then Representative Richie Torres, Democrat in New York Progressive, says, I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless we get a large recon. And what does he want in the recon? His housing stimulus. What is that? Don't know. So things are getting really quite fascinating because now they're trying to give you other things in the recon. Now, we do know that the president has said his stuff is in the recon, which is money for seniors and money for medicine and money for children and money for climate and electric vehicles. And we also know that Jalopal says that her stimulus checks are in there. So we hear all these things, and now it's getting really big and bold. What is also coming wonderful of this is the protection. Recon is getting very well protected. Now, here's something obvious, which I have to explain again. Recon is written only by Democrats, for Democrats, to be voted on Democrats, to be passed by Democrats. GOP is not touching the recon. They don't want to even hear about it. They don't even want to be in the same room. So they have nothing to do with the draft of the recon. And now it's literally in a fort. And Jalopal was told us before the split day that she was told by the president to continue protecting the recon and the progressive policies. Why? Now we know, because the recon is only checks for the American people. And then Brian Schatz said, the president said that the progressive priorities in the recon are his own priorities. Of course they are. Roads and bridge, of course they are. Climate, cares economy, absolutely. Suddenly, finally, your recon got its own identity because no longer could naysayers say, oh, the recon, it's just roads and bridges, roads and bridges and bridges and roads. No, it was never only roads and bridges. But now that the roads and bridges are down the road, over the bridge, somewhere else in the bipartisan, then suddenly we see that the recon is just money for Americans and nothing else. And how did we get to this wonderful spot? By Jalapa, who had written this letter to Schumer saying, call the vote, Chuck. Chuck, call the vote. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting forced stimulus checks monthly in the forced stimulus recon. Now, who are these people? They're on the House subcommittee of the House Ways and Means that is solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks and also for writing the recon. Remember, Democrats write the recon for Democrats. These are the people who are actually writing the recon. They wrote your third stimulus recon and your third stimulus check. They are writing your fourth stimulus recon and represent they're giving you a fourth stimulus check, and they represent they're giving you a fifth stimulus recon when they write that in the fall. More about that coming up later in this video. But how do we get to that? Can we top that? We can. As the president went overseas internationally 3 weeks ago to get fourth stimulus recon anchored to the edge of the finish line by getting the international corporate tax rate raised. How did this work, and what was that at issue? Well, here's where it gets sort of a little bit smirky. The president had originally told the American people, I need to raise your corporate taxes to pay for roads and bridges, because they're in the recon. Well, now that the split has occurred and roads and bridges are no longer in the recon, what is he using corporate taxes to pay for? Your medicine. Wait a second, that's not what you pitched us on. Well, he's still staying with that. So he's using corporate taxes to pay for the recon, whether roads and bridges are out of it or they're still, whatever is still in the recon. But the president had worried that if he raised the corporate taxes, business may move overseas to find lower corporate tax rates. To which the president reached out to the countries overseas and said, raise your rates. And those countries said, yeah, okay, all right. The president reached out to staff, said, staff, can we go meet those countries in December and bring them some of Dr. Jill's wonderful potpourri? And the staff said, Mr. President, it's June. You can meet them now. It's Europe. They do things differently. They like potpourri in June. They're closer to the equator. That's a Yale staff. That's a Yale joke. That's how Yale people understand geography. New Haven's the center of the universe. So, there you go. Anna's laughing somewhere in the chat. So, there you go. I still have that guy's picture somewhere in the Yale. But anyway, so the fourth stimulus was anchored to the edge of the finish line because those countries agreed to a global minimum corporate tax rate higher, which now makes it easier to write fourth stimulus because you don't need that provision in it. It's easier for the Democrats to write the fourth stimulus, easier to pass the fourth stimulus, and it anchors fourth stimulus to the edge of the finish line. Wow, can we top that? Yes. As we go into the finale of your fourth stimulus recon update today, with the understanding of how they call the vote is so much more important than when they call the vote. You're going to learn a lot of details about how votes are called, how it's done, where it's done, how it's done, and how it's done in the month of July. I'm going to give you a lot of information for you to learn, and ultimately you're going to see how important this is. This stimulus also heats up in the second half of this video, but first, something even more wonderful, the volunteers. If you need rent, utilities, SNAP, or internet, and you're watching the people in the live chat and you've tried to get it, you can't get it, don't frustrate yourself. Reach out to the volunteers. They truly embody the Purple Power spirit. They're here to help you get that. They're viewers just like you. Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see the volunteers. It'll say community page. Click the community page. It has an emoji of a house, and then it says community page. Click the link. It sends you over to news.la.com/community. On the community page, the volunteers will help you get that rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP. They cannot mow your lawn. They cannot take out your garbage. They cannot give you a new San Francisco hairstyle. They can get you about everything else. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter and Instagram individuals, reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA, direct from Santa Monica, with the exciting details tonight about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus update. Wow, here we go. The big part of the broadcast is coming still up, so stay with me. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. And also, like this video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. Make sure you hit that like button. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video. It'll take you automatically into Overnight's Crypto at 5:30. Then Evening's Crypto at 7 o'clock. And Sirloin is back with his own new time slot at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, nightly. That's Sirloin and Javita Late daily on this channel. Then we go into our overnight shows every night at 9 o'clock and 11:30. So subscribe. Let's get right into fifth stimulus right now. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall with a fifth stimulus check for next year. Got some great questions overnight where people are asking, well, it looks like the two checks overlap. No, here's what you need to know is the people who want you to have a fourth stimulus check, House Ways and Means subcommittee members for fourth stimulus recon also want you to have a fifth stimulus recon check. They're going to be drafting the both of them, so they're not going to make one overlap the other. Number two, the president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your fourth, your fifth stimulus checks and any other checks go out on time. Number three, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. One, file a tax return to request the checks. And two, on that tax return, request the checks on a particular line that's specifically designated for doing that. If you haven't done both things, reach out to a tax preparer. Which brings us to the big finale of fifth stimulus with that raising up of your benefits lifetime. Now, Wall Street was closed today. The markets were closed. There's no new economic data today, but there was certainly a lot on Friday and all last week. Friday, the jobs numbers came in hot, up, inflation going up. Wednesday, lumber crashing, down 40%, biggest crash in 1 month. Housing starts up, big inflation number. The week before that, the CPI, the PPI, all big up, big numbers. And finally, Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, said inflation's going up and it's going to reach its highest point in December, which is perfect for us, which is exactly where they apply your benchmark. Let's go over that SSI reform and understand how this works out with this news. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. They'll add a new inflationary benchmark. Remove the asset limit and then remove the marriage penalty and remove the income exclusion. Let's go over how this works starting right now. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. This is you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, or SCARF benefits. Sorry, Javita. Then they will apply a new benchmark. You have learned from this channel that a benchmark is applied every December for next year's benefits, number one. You've learned that the benchmark raises your benefits up next year if the number's positive, number two. You've learned that the new benchmark is inflation, number three. You've learned that inflation is going up, number four. And you've learned from me that Jay Powell says that inflation reached its highest point in December, number five. Well, all that's left to see is how high is that number? We won't know until closer to December, but boy, Wall Street's saying about potentially 10%. So let's use that number, for example. If that's the case, your benefits will raise up one time, and then they'll apply the benchmark. Your benefits will raise up an additional 10%, not just next year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the year after that, the inflation rate is 1%, then your benefits will be plus 1, plus 10%. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Also, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't work and that you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Time to have some stimulus checks and some Crayolas in your hand. They're going to remove the income cap that will prevent you from working, and now you'll be able to work and also stay on benefits. And they're going to get rid of the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, and you'll no longer fear benefit losses across the board. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer worry about the marriage penalty. The marriage penalties revoking would not be retroactive. So if you've lost benefits over the years, you would not get those retroactively put back in. It would just be from this date forward. All right, that's for stimulus. But boy, if you've seen the people in the live chat talk about all this big money they got to, or if you're hearing it and you're saying, I really want to get that money, but I want to learn more about how to get that money, then consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comments. Members are delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big money in third stimulus. And when third stimulus was passed earlier this year, I said, yeah, you get a $14 stimulus check, but how about that $14,000 that you might be eligible for? That is how viewers are killing it. $23,000 for Nisi. That's how viewers are killing it. They're understanding this money is there for them. It was put there for them in the third stimulus. Just like how I'm talking right now, that the fourth stimulus recon, they want to give you other money. When they give you that other money, are you not going to go get it? I mean, it's your money. They're putting it there. Go get it. And so by becoming a member, you're delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big money that's available for you to get. I deliver daily from the YouTube community page. And you get an emoji next to your name that is of a purple hawk, like viewers in the live chat. Which brings us to the big finale of your fourth stimulus starting right now. Here's what you need to know. First, they can still get those stimulus checks out in the month of July for the month of July. But it's important to know that how they call the vote is critical. It's critical. You're going to see right now how critical it is. And if you try to diminish the criticalness of how they call the vote, you're not understanding how they're going to the mat for you, because this is a big issue, folks. Let's go over the first thing. I told you before the split day, when bipartisan and recon were split 2 Wednesdays ago, the recon at that point would not have passed. If they had called the vote before that split day, they would have called the vote, it would have lost, and you can't do a redo over. There's no redo over. You can't go back and say, let me just make some changes and fix it and call for. No, that's it. You've used up your recon. You're done. Go home, and no one gets anything. Roads don't get anything, bridges don't get anything, and you don't get anything. Well, now that the split has occurred, the next issue is how they call the vote. And here's what you need to know. Jalapal slipped up. I mean, you can't be perfect all the time. Jalapal slipped up by revealing to us, mistakenly, that she had been asking her Democratic caucus how to call the vote for the split items before they were split. Yeah, sorry, Jalapal. I caught the slip. She was giving us dates, and we was like, wait a second, the 2 items were split by then. So you're asking your Democrat caucus this because it's so critically important. She asked them, how should they vote on the 2 split items before they're split? We did a poll of our members, and the overwhelming majority of our caucus said they're not going to vote for the bipartisan without the recon vote first. There you go. So she understood the severity of the issue because she not only asked her caucus about it, but asked it before the split happened, which shows you the split was as important as how to call the vote after the split. And that's what Nancy Pelosi was ready for as your real champion for you in 2021. It's a whole new Nancy, by coming out quickly right after the split, 24 hours later, saying, I'm calling the vote the correct way, folks. I'm not calling the vote the wrong way. She said there ain't going to be no bipartisan vote unless we have a recon bill vote first. As I said, there won't be a bipartisan bill vote unless we have a recon bill. Plain and simple, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan bill vote unless we have a recon bill passed by the United States Senate. Done. Now, this is critical. What's at issue? Now that the split has happened, it could still die. How does it die? You call the vote the wrong way. Here is the wrong way. Calling the recon vote after the bipartisan. If you call the recon after the bipartisan, the recon dies. No one gets anything. No one gets anything. Everything is done. Goodbye. Can't do that. So you have to do it the right way. What's the right way? The recon has to be called before the bipartisan or concurrently with the bipartisan. And that's how it gets passed. Now, Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the president are the people. Excuse me, Leader Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi, Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are the people who determine the voting process and how things are called for votes. So that's what's critical. So what are they doing right today? What are they doing this week? Here's what you need to know: is that those House Ways and Means Committee members who are writing up your fourth stimulus recon from early in this video have actually issued a statement last week. They're saying we're in town all this week in House subcommittee meetings to finish this up. Wow. Now, here's what you need to know. The Congress is a big building. It has a lot of rooms. It has the offices of individual senators and House members, and then it has the subcommittee conference rooms. Well, that's where they are this week. They are in subcommittee meetings to get this done. Leader Schumer has done this way before, where he has the Senate and the House subcommittees meet together. The House is still taking the lead, even though, I got to remind you, this legislation will start in the Senate. Unlike prior legislations like first, second, and third stimulus, this one is starting in the Senate. I said this about a week and a half ago, but I haven't said it recently. It'll start in the Senate, then go to the House, then go to the President. It does not start with a vote-a-rama because the vote-a-rama is for amendments. It starts in the Senate, but it'll come out of those House subcommittees. Here's what you also need to know, is that those House subcommittees don't have any constitutional requirement. They tell you everything they're doing. So they're not going to tell you every draft that they have, or that they have a draft, or that they have a final bill, or that they already voted on it. They just sort of sometimes do things. Some voluntarily choose to be a little bit more transparent, others don't. Then, here's what you also need to know, is that when they are ready to vote on the floor of the House and Senate, that's called in session. There's two rooms in the Congress building, one for the Senate floor and one for the House floor. When those are not in session, the doors are closed. Here's what you need to know. In July 2020, fake narratives everywhere said not in session means they're in another continent of the planet Earth. It's just not true. So these senators actually got ahead of the story and said, we're actually in D.C. We're actually in the building. We're actually in our office. In fact, we're actually in the subcommittee meetings. So don't say we're off in Tahiti. We're not there. And what does it take to put them back into session? The Senate can be called in by Schumer, the House can be called in by Pelosi, and the President can call them both in under Constitution. And they're literally down the hall. It's like, get your you know what, and we're going to go vote. We're going to session. It's not like you're calling them in to fly in transcontinental. So there you go. Finally, it's important to know that how they call the vote is so much more critical than when they call the vote. We are not here at any time to be check trackers or calendar catchers or time clock counters or anything like that. When, that gets you nowhere. Because if you call the vote the wrong way, nothing gets passed and there's no redo over. It is that important that Jalapal has gone to the mat and even pulled her caucus to ask this question before the split happened. Finally, it's important to know that you have to push purple power. You have to push. Not only can you not be a donut guy saying when, but you have to push, and you need to keep on pushing. Here's what you need to know, is that WR on noontime 2 Fridays ago said in the live chat, he got on the phone and called his senator. He did exactly what I said, professional call, said in his mind what he was going to say, thought in his mind before what he was going to say before he called up and said, I want to express to you why I think I need multiple stimulus checks and why the American people need multiple stimulus checks. Went through the whole analysis. The recipient of the conversation, the secretary to Senator Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's closest confidant, who happens to be WR's senator. And the response for the secretary, Senator Coons, is putting monthly stimulus checks in the stimulus package. Now, I don't want you to sit back and celebrate because WR did all your work. I want you to do the same thing. I do not want you calling up anyone saying, where's my check? When am I getting my check? You don't care. No, you don't do that. You do not do that. The purpose of calling a senator is to express why you need something. I want to express why I need monthly stimulus checks because my family has suffered because of this. My town has suffered, or my community, or my church, or my family, or my business. and express them professionally. And they'll take notes and they'll say thank you for your input. Thank you and have a beautiful day. And that's what Purple Power is about. Pushing down the finish line. It ain't over the finish line, and until it's not over the finish line, you have to push. Finally, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, and Facebook. Tag your elected officials. Keep on pushing because ultimately everything is important. Finally, keep it positive. This is not a date-chasing event. Well, July 4th, then July 5th, then July 6th, then July... No. I don't want anyone posting anything. Yeah. As one person said something really, really nice in the comments yesterday. She was just wonderful. I wish I remember her name. I think it was Laura. She said, Congress is always slow. They're just slow people. They move sometimes slowly. Don't take it out on Congress. Don't say things like they don't care for you. Look how Jalapal has really, really gone through a lot of preparations to ensure you get things she wants you to have. We have to ensure you get everything that she promises she wants you to have. But Congress moves slow. And patience is important. That's why it's important to get that rent, utilities, SNAP, and internet. It's a little bit like December 2020. Get that big money, $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 across the board. If you're having problems getting it, reach out to the volunteers. And with that, join me next on Overnight's Crypto. This video will take you automatically into Overnight's Crypto right after this video is over. Then, Evening's Crypto at 7 o'clock. Sirloin and Javita Late in their new show every night at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And then we go into our overnight shows at 9 o'clock and 11:30 Pacific Standard Time nightly. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this family. America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Like this video, 3,000 likes. Consider becoming a member so that you get access to all the beautiful money that you can get under fourth and third stimulus as well. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay here. I'll see you on Overnight's Crypto.